I had it scheduled for like 5 minutes from now, but obviously I don't know how to work the live stuff. So here I am. The Winds of Change. That's what I titled it. You know, I never know what to title it prior to speaking because I get off on such tangents. It's hard telling what the heck I'm going to talk about. There are a few things that I would like to talk about. Haven't made that many videos lately. You know, I was kind of in the habit of, it's really windy, so I apologize. Might sound like crap. Who knows? Man, that just got blown on the table. So the haven't made that many videos, and the reason why is because I've had a lot going on. Got a lot of things coming up. We got our meetup coming up June 23rd, week from today. 1 week from today, Friday, in Peoria, Illinois, the Peoria Pizza Works. Hi, Carol, how you doing? Thanks for hopping in here. So when I go live, you can hop into the chat and you can talk amongst yourselves. But the Pizza Works, the Peoria Pizza Works, next Friday, we're having the meetup, and it's a good time to, if you're into crypto. I know the market's down right now. Hey, Daddy-O, what's up, man? So the market's down right now, and people are, oh my gosh, you know, what's going to get banned and what gateways are going to get closed? But it really doesn't matter. If you understand crypto, it's a decentralized protocol, decentralized code that runs on many computers. It's outside of government, outside of central banking. So, you know, they can talk a mean game, but, you know, they can only do what they can do. They can only do what we let them to do, allow them to do. So I hope you can make it to the Pizza Works. I've got a link in the description below to my website, clintwestwood.net, and many other links in there to other things that I talk about. But that one in particular, go to that website, and at the top, hit that happy hour link, and then you'll see all the details for the meetup 1 week from today in Peoria, Illinois. Having a live happy hour. Litecoin, Lisa, and I are going to be doing our happy hour show like we always do on Fridays. Today we'll be doing it at 4 p.m. Central Time. Next Friday we'll be doing it at 4 p.m. Central Time, and that will be truly live, both of us together. Come meet us. Come meet all kinds of great people who are showing up, and just talk about crypto. It starts at 3 p.m. and it goes till whenever. I was watching today. I just got done watching. I haven't kept up on the news much. You know, had some things going on, personal life, and you know, you have to tend to those things. But I watched a video. John F. Kennedy Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was on the Joe Rogan Experience. You know, big podcast, Joe Rogan, and I watched a clip of it. Hey, Paulie P, I know you're going to be here next Friday, for sure, next Friday. But I was watching the Joe Rogan show, a clip of it. I just retweeted it. It was with RFK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr. And the topic that came up was his uncle, John F. Kennedy Jr., when he was president. He came into office, and he was a president who did not want war. And right before that, Eisenhower, who was a president, he was a general, you know, in World War II and became president for 2 terms. He was the president before John Kennedy. And he warned in his farewell speech about the dangers of the military-industrial complex, and we must keep an eye on it. We must realize that this is a big threat to our society, to freedom, to a democratic form of government. Having kind of an entrenched system that continues on and serves itself and uses the money and the energy of a democratic form of government to serve its own needs. And what happened, Eisenhower knew that, and if anybody would know that, being a general, being in the military for his career, and then president for 2 terms, he would definitely understand the dangers of such a thing. And when John F. Kennedy took office in 1960, right after Eisenhower, he didn't want to get in any foreign entanglements, didn't want to get in any foreign wars. The CIA and some of the other agencies, the defense apparatus, which is really an offensive apparatus, had cooked up some schemes in Cuba, and you might have heard of the Bay of Pigs and how it was a big flop, and Kennedy would not send in military support. He said, we're not doing that. He kind of he made that one mistake and allowed the deep state agencies to try to foment a revolution in Cuba, because that's the thing. They don't want a powerful leader controlling a nation. They want puppets so that they can exploit those countries. You see that in Africa a lot. A lot of the leaders are bought and paid for, and the people suffer. But as long as they're controlled and follow the rules of the Roman Empire, they're allowed to be the governor of that territory. This is a really good cigar. Has not gone out yet. Really windy. It's by Drew Estate. I like Drew Estate cigars. They have a lot of boutique type cigars. A lot of weird ones. A lot of flavors. Pretty good company from everything I've tried. But this one's had a lot of high ratings. A lot of people have talked good about it. It's the Drew Estate Undercrown, and it's the Undercrown shade. It's the Maduro wrap, so it's a little darker. There's one that's not. It's more of a Connecticut wrap, I think, a lighter wrap. But it is pretty good. It's the first time I've ever had one. And it's only been in the humidor maybe, I don't know, 4 days. But a really good flavor. But what happened is Kennedy said, no, we're not doing that. No, I don't want to get involved in Vietnam. So he really slow rolled it and dragged his feet and said, I'm not sending soldiers in. And so he fought that entrenched apparatus, you know, that's funded with dark money, that really, you don't know what they're doing. They have their own agenda. They outlast presidents. They continue to do what they're going to do and leave the leaders in the dark. They figure, I mean, you think about it. You're running this, and this is your agenda. You want to kind of foment wars. You want to get things started because that leads to other things. A lot of money can be made. A lot of deals can be made. A lot of power can be grabbed. And you can do it, you know, kind of unseen. Now, once in a while, somebody comes in and says, no, we're not doing this. However, the thing with the presidency is you've got term limits. They know that the worst case scenario is that president's going to be in there for 8 years. They can outlast any president. And so they slow roll it, and you saw it with Trump. They slow roll them, they throw a bunch of stuff at them, make it difficult for them to make any decisions, to get anything changed. And they figure, once he's gone, we'll just continue doing what we're doing. We'll get one of our guys in. And so that's what they did. That's what they did with Kennedy. They just decided to get rid of him ahead of time because he was such a threat. Didn't want him upsetting the apple cart and disrupting the business that they had created. And Kennedy was a very staunch warrior. He did a lot of things to try and stop them, and he did it publicly. Didn't realize how dangerous of a situation he was in, I don't think. And he suffered for it in Dallas, Texas, on November 22nd, 1963. It's going to be 60 years this November when we had the official coup d'etat of America, because that's exactly what it was. They cut the head off right at the top. And since then, you look at the presidents, right after that, Lyndon Johnson comes in and boom, immediately ramps up the war in Vietnam. Horrific, accomplished nothing, at least as far as, you know, America is concerned, or the idea of America. A lot of people got rich, a lot of people benefited, a lot of networks, a lot of organizations grew up out of that, a lot of money, pools, a lot of channeling of money in different commodities, I guess you could say. And you got Nixon, you know, say what you want about him. There's some good and the bad there. But since then, you've had some weak leaders. You had Gerald Ford, you had Jimmy Carter, and Reagan came in and tried to upset the apple cart again. He's he was one that, you know, hey, let's reinvent America. Let's put America first. Let's build build our infrastructure and bring back some, you know, productivity and innovation to America. And what happened with that is he got shot. He made it though, but after that, a lot of that changed. A lot of his narrative changed, and you know, he had. Hang on, while I'm working here. Sorry, I got to get this done. But he had a vice president named George Bush. And George Bush, if you look at his history, that a lot of people tie him back to Dallas, Texas in November of 1963, and a lot of a pot of oil, if you look at that. You look at, he was director of the CIA for a time. He had a lot of connections, to China too. So you almost had, he would have become president if Reagan didn't make it. Let's just look at it that way. Reagan did make it, however, his tone changed. And during the primaries, running for the Republican nomination, Ronald Reagan made some statements about George Bush. Didn't really care for him, I don't think. Called him a globalist, I think part of a Trilateral Commission, you know, some of the other globalist organizations. He kind of knew what Bush was, but he was forced to make him his vice presidential candidate. And if Reagan got taken out, which they tried to do, and you look at the connections of the person who shot Reagan and the ties to that same vice president and his family, I don't think there are any coincidences, right, Daddy-O? So, you've got a lot of people, the power, the presidential, being a president's very powerful still. A lot of things you can change. However, it is an entrenched system, and it's difficult to make sweeping changes. However, the last thing that these people want, that run the things, you know, in the shadows, is a powerful president that has the support of the people, who answers just to the people. They want those people, those presidents, to answer to the system, to the people who are really running things behind the scenes. And those are the types of people that they want. So when you got a guy like Trump that then comes along, I mean, the Clintons follow order, you know, basically baby Bush, Clinton. Then you had baby Bush, for real, George W. Obama, you know. None of these people served the people. They were just selected candidates. Not until Trump did, I'll touch snakes, rats, okay. Going on in the chat, you guys chat amongst yourselves while I ramble. But not until Trump did you have somebody come in and say, I don't care, I'm not beholden to anybody, and I really don't care. I got my own money, I'm gonna put my own money up, I'm gonna do my own thing, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm here for the people, I want to make America great, I want to put America first. And a lot of his policies he did. However, just like any other outside candidate, any candidate that is pro-people, we the people, they get stonewalled. And they make it very difficult for those people to rule, or to run the thing, I shouldn't say rule. And now, you know, a little history lesson, now we have Biden, and you look at what's coming out with that, not really being reported a whole lot. The millions of dollars the Congress is looking into, maybe up to another $30 million that they say they can prove, went to the Biden family. And that money is not in the best interests of the American people. So we've kind of got a hijacked government, and I think it happened in 1963, officially. And now we have the nephew of that president, John F. Kennedy, his nephew, RFK, and Robert Kennedy's dad was assassinated too. He was the Attorney General for John F. Kennedy, but he was assassinated. And the topic came up on Joe Rogan, you know, hey, your uncle was assassinated. I mean, you're talking about some of the same things he talked about. If you're elected president, you know, what makes you think you're safe? And he said, you know, I'm fully aware of that, but I don't live in fear. That's the thing that they don't like, when you're not afraid. When you just say, doesn't matter, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, like it or not. And hey, like he said, he takes precautions, he's aware of it, but he's not gonna live in fear. And I can admire that. Do I agree with everything that he says? No. But where he's come from, what his family's been through, and what's happened to them when they try to affect change, you can't disparage that and think that, you know, it's a brave thing for him to step up and talk about the things he's been talking about right now. And I want to call that out. So all that rambling was just because I watched that video, and I think everybody should watch that video and watch that interview on the Joe Rogan podcast with Robert Kennedy, because he tells a lot of truth, and he is an outsider at this point. He is someone that you see him being attacked on his own side of the aisle, and you got to ask yourself why. You got to ask yourself, why does the Democratic Party not want to have a debate for the presidential candidates? They're just anointing Joe Biden and saying, hey, he's our guy, we're going with him. Why no open discourse? Why no democratic discussion? No dialogue? And you ask yourself, is that the kind of world you want to live in, to where we just, hey, this is our boss, this is the boss, he's going to be the boss, and you know, this is the guy, and you don't have an open debate? I mean, isn't that what America is supposed to be? You know, that's why we have freedom of speech. That's why the First Amendment's in place, freedom of the press, so that we can discuss these things and come to our own conclusions and select the best candidate or elect the best candidate. If you open your eyes, you realize that isn't the case. That's not where we're at. It's a controlled system. And I think if you're paying attention at all, you realize that. Look and see what we got going on back here. Okay, Dad's back there with the tractor. if we don't have anybody representing us, we the people, then what do we have? We have people representing certain groups, certain interests. And 60 years ago, these organizations weren't nearly as big as they are now. Now they're very pervasive, very powerful. A lot of people benefit. And it's no wonder that they they don't want, it's no wonder that they want a candidate in there that's going to continue to support big government, growing government. And that's what we've got. Unfortunate, but might seem a little frustrating at times, might seem a little disheartening and not a lot of hope for America, but you got to look at it from the other side, that they've got all this money and they throw everything at you, and all the deception and all the tools at their disposal, and yet we still know something's wrong. We understand. I was just looking at the chat, sorry. Thanks for being in here. But we all know something's wrong, and the question is, what is wrong? We can go to an ATM and take cash out, and that thing never miscounts. Always get the right amount of cash. You don't have people driving around constantly posting on social media, taking pictures and saying, hey, I took out $200 and I got $220. It doesn't happen. They know how to count the bills with those machines. However, the machines, when it comes to every 2 years or every 4 years in a presidential election, can't seem to get it right. You gotta ask yourself, why not? Pretty obvious. Been hijacked. Country's been hijacked. And it started in 1963. So you might think you have a voice. They make you think that you do, and they give lip service to it, but look at your paycheck. Look what comes out of it. Where does it go? What good is it? What happens to that money? Look at how much money people spend to become elected, to become part of the system, and they come out much richer, much wealthier. You got to realize at some point that it's not serving you. It's not in your best interest. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to get out there and rally the troops and say, hey, we need to vote for this guy? Well, if the whole thing's not above board, what difference does it make? I think it's important that a lot of these voices are coming out now, and a lot of the truth is coming out now. It's up to us at an individual level to either support it or not support it. Now, you figure it out on your own, how that is, how you're not going to support that system if you disagree with it. You can do it in a lot of different ways. Just think of the different things that you can do on a daily basis to not give that thing power, to not give it energy. Energy is money. And you use the money to feed it or starve it. So you take action accordingly. You do have some tools to be able to do that. Now, I talk about it all the time. I talk about crypto, but what's happening in the crypto space is very emblematic of what's happened to America. You've got groups of people that don't want you to have any power. They don't want your voice to matter. They don't want your vote to matter. They don't want your money to matter. So they want to lock you into their monetary system. When there's a threat that comes along, let's say a community or a state says, hey, we're going to go all paper ballots. And this is going to be audited, it's going to be on camera, nothing below board. This is going to be an honest, fair deal. I think they'll have a problem with that. That's why you've got electronic voting machines. If you have a system that comes along that offers you sound money that's outside of their system, something that you can use and transfer your value, that's a threat. So what makes you think that they're not going to try and scare you out of that? What makes you think that they're not going to use everything that they have to try to get you not to use it, or get you to get rid of it, get you to sell it, get you not to participate in it? That's exactly what's happening right now. You're seeing those places where you can exit their system, those gateways where you can exit the system. You're seeing that system give them a hard time, rough them up, close them down, try and say that they need to be regulated or unregulated. They want them to spend their energy to defend themselves. you can look at the price of things, and it's not always the price of things. It's what that can be used for. It's the tool that you have. So if you look at the cryptocurrency space, you've got something. Listen, you don't have access to the money printers. Only the Fed does. Only the banks do. Now that you have a new system, you've got access to it. You can get in on the ground floor. I mean, you can actually get the assets, hold them in your possession, and use them anytime you want. So you're not asking for permission anymore. They want you to ask for permission to use the money. They're making it harder. They raise interest rates, make the money harder. Banks put you through the ringer. Well, you got to do this, you got to do this. Bring me the broomstick of the Wicked Witch. Jump through this hoop. They only want you to play the game if you're willing to sign over your soul, sign over everything that you have, essentially. You go out and get a mortgage. What happens? You get a 30-year mortgage, you pay the interest up front, and they have rights to that home if you stop paying. You can make 99% of those payments. If you can't make that last one for whatever reason, then come take the house. And they will. Not a very fair system. Then property tax, they can come take it again if they want to. It might seem negative, it might seem dark, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it as, all right, fine. You guys are going to play this game. You're going to ask for your blood money. You're going to ask for my energy. Well, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to take it somewhere else. I'm going to do something else with it. I'm going to take possession of my energy. I'm going to take ownership of myself. And you can do that. Now, you can be scared. Be scared and say, well, I don't know. This might not be safe. This might be a security. And somebody in a chat yesterday made a good point. And it's like, well, Microsoft and Apple are securities. Yeah, exactly. They are. So some of these things, some of these tokens, some of these cryptos, yeah, they're definitely going to be securities. But does that mean they're not going to work? No, not at all. And what are they going after? They're not necessarily going after the coins. They're going after the gateways to the coins. So ask yourself, why are they doing that? Because they want to control your ability to hold these things and use these things. So as they're on sale, and it's no coincidence that, big entities like BlackRock say, hey, we might get into crypto. You've got other people, if you look at it and read between the lines saying, oh yeah, we're going to get into this. Soros, his son, hey, we can take over crypto. Traditional finance can take over crypto. That's all they want to do. They see that there's value there. They see that there is power in that. They see that there's wealth in that. They see that it is a new economic weapon, economic tool, and they just want to hijack it. They want to take it over. That's all it is. So you've got an opportunity now where they can't take it over if you don't let them take it over. See, they can't manipulate the price like they do with silver if you take possession of all the silver. And there's nothing to trade anymore. They can trade it on paper, but as soon as somebody wants 1 ounce of silver that's not available in a warehouse, what are they going to do? Pay you off in cash? Let them do it, but expose that. Realize that. There's only a limited supply of certain things. They want to make you think that, oh, there's no sense holding it. You don't need to take possession of it. Why would you do that? You've got it right here. Your 401k, just leave it. It'll be there. Don't worry about it. See, it goes up on paper. If you don't have it and you can't control it and you can't do something with it today or on the weekend without asking for permission, then you don't own it. And that's the beauty of crypto. You do have possession of it. You have an independent network of computers, decentralized computers, running open source code that anybody can audit, running and validating transactions, sending value from here to anywhere in the world. You've got the ability to do that right now. So you've got the tools that work. It's none of this promise of, oh, next year, 5 years from now, it's going to change the world and do this. Listen, it's already changed the world. We just haven't accepted the fact yet that we have a new form of money we can use. We have many forms of money that we can use. I mean, you can use Bitcoin, you can use Litecoin, you can use DigiByte, Dogecoin. You can use all these different real cryptocurrencies to transfer value right now. You're not waiting on anything to change with it. I mean, yeah, improvements can be made. Yeah, Mimblewimble can roll out, so that you've got privacy on every wallet that you carry around on every phone, rather than having to download the core wallet onto a computer and send it that way. But it's just going to get more advanced as we go forward. The underlying asset is still the underlying asset, and it still works. And it works right now. We're not waiting for anything to work. It works right now. It's just a matter of, are we going to make the choice to participate in the old vampire system that takes out presidents because they don't agree with them, that starts wars without declaration, that robs you of your wealth every day through inflation? I mean, are we going to continue to just say that's okay? Or are we going to make a choice and we're going to say, hey, might not be the best option, but at least it's an option and it's a viable option? It's really up to us to make the decision. All comes down to us. All comes down to, every day, are we making a choice that feeds a vampire, or are we making a choice that exposes the vampire? That's it. It's up to us. And you can be scared. Everybody's scared of a vampire. You know, you go into the dark, you don't know, oh, holy cow. You got to expose them. You got to put them in the light of truth. Up to us. When you're not afraid, just like RFK said, you know, in his interview, you know, he's like, you know, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of it. You get to that point to where it's bigger. It's bigger than that whole thing, that fear. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do to you? Take your life like that, you know, they can do? Doesn't matter. If you get the truth out there, enough people see that, and they cannot fight against we the people who are awake. They just can't. So you make a choice every day. What are you going to do with your energy? Up to you, up to all of us. That's why it's important. Meetups are important. Have these discussions around real people, looking eye to eye, face to face, you know, with somebody that understands and you can communicate with, and build community outside of that system, to where you use whatever money you want. So that's just a few things I wanted to say. You know, the main thing is, realize that every day you can do something. Every day you can do something to make things better, leave them better than you found it. And that's probably a good thing. Next Friday, that's the meetup, Peoria, Illinois. Like I said, clintwestwood.net, go to the top, click the happy hour link, get here. There are some hotels. Some people have asked about, where do I stay, you know, when I come down? If you like to gamble, in East Peoria, it's very close to the meetup, not very far at all, just on the other side of the bridge, right down along the river. It is a Paradise, P-A-R-A-D-I-C-E, I think, Paradise. You can stay there if you like to gamble. You know, you can get on the riverboat that doesn't cruise and stand. I don't even know if you can go on the top deck anymore, but you know, it's something to do. There are some decent hotels, some nice hotels actually, that you can stay at. If you have any questions on them and you're coming to the meetup, you know, hit me up with an email. I'll let you know, you might not want to stay there, or yeah, that's a good choice. You know, at least thumbs up or thumbs down. And I think Embassy Suites in East Peoria is good. There's a lot of shopping, food around there. Nice area. I mean, that's a good one. It's right on the other side of the river from Peoria. Downtown Peoria, they do have some tours, I think, on Saturday, you know, if you're spending the weekend. Used to be an old whiskey town, Peoria. You know, a lot of money was there. Biggest whiskey producer in the country and in the world at one point, I believe. They had that famous whiskey trust in the late 1800s. Very powerful, produced a lot of whiskey. So there are some tours, you know, some of the old historical places that you can do. A lot of things you can do. So, any questions? Shoot me an email. It is at the top of my website if you go to clintwestwood.net, and I'll be happy to, you know, say, hey, yeah, good idea or not such a good idea. But I would love anyone who's thinking about, you know, if you've never been to a meetup, you can make it or take the weekend, come on over, Peoria, Illinois. It is, yeah, I couldn't see it. Can't read the chat while I'm doing this. I shouldn't even try to. But no, I thank everybody for hopping in. Get to the meetup, Peoria, Illinois. It is, it'll be worth your time. You'll find like-minded people, and you'll be able to talk about things that you probably can't talk to people about in your daily life. And that's why we do these things, to bring good people together. If you're not into crypto, I'll teach you how to download a wallet, back it up, and I'll send you some Litecoin and some DigiByte. So I'm throwing that in there, both. I'll send them both to you if you come to the meetup next Friday. So hope you can be there. Thanks for hopping in. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. Come back and check out our happy hour live today at 4 p.m. Central Time on Litecoin Lisa's YouTube channel. It'll be simulcast here, but the chat's over there when it's live. Watch it here later if you can't make the live. But just look up Litecoin Lisa on YouTube, and at 4 p.m. Central Time today, we'll be live. We'll be talking about this, the meetup, and a lot of other things. So I'm just thankful you popped in Friday, weekend. Love you all. Always trust yourself. Don't trust vampires. They are not looking out for you. All right. See you on happy hour. Hopefully in Peoria too. Have a great day.